I'd like to express an experience of mine to do with time and, well, essentially time travel, time hopping, and this idea really that time is an illusion and everything is already there, already happened. So the metaphor to help what I'm trying to speak to land is the idea of a CD disc, right? So whether that's a DVD or music, we have the disc. We can take the whole thing, all the data is on that disc. But when we put it in and we press play, it gives us the illusion that it's a present moment piece. So we are just hearing that part of the music or that part of the movie, and it will give the illusion that there's a time for this thing. It's like 2 hours in the movie and we can be at a certain time on that point in the disc, that track. But we know we can actually rewind it or fast forward it because all of the data is there. It's already there. So my idea of the multiverse and time is that it's really, time is this huge CD. But if you think about it as in one disc, it's like a spiral just going all the way up like this. And you've got a spiral column, and that is time. All of the data is already there. It just depends whereabouts on the disc we are and what we're then experiencing in that now moment. But every single possibility or combination, a bit like a computer game, exists already. So when we're doing psychic journeying and things like that, we can pop to potentially a different timeline. The psychic can collect the data from those multiple possible timelines. And this is one of the things that you've got to remember about a psychic reading. It's one of your possible timelines, okay? It's not that it's destiny. It's not that it's actually going to happen. It's a potential timeline that there's access to. And if you want to choose that timeline, fine. If you want to alter it and hop to a new one, you can. So, because often we kind of hang on readings as, oh, that's it. That's everything. I knew it. And you can take it like that if you want to. But you can also take it to, thanks for the information. That's the timeline I'm maybe headed to at the moment, or a possible one. I want to make sure that I choose what I do want. And we can choose the threads and use the information to pull in what we do choose, what we want to realign to. So if it's a reading that says something like your current partner is not going to serve you in the future, be like, well, okay. And if you want to stay with that current partner, it doesn't necessarily mean leave them. It means something needs to shift or alter from this, whatever it is, to make sure that it is a fit in the future. You just need to tweak something. Do you see what I mean? So my experience when I was a child, actually I had maybe 2 or 3 of these, which is why it sinks in. Because if you just had one, maybe you would forget about it. But I kept having this odd experience when I was younger, a little bit like deja vu. But I felt like in really, that could have been a really traumatic experience, that I was soothing myself. So one specific example of this was, I was in France in a different country because I'm from the UK originally. So my family was on holiday there, and I've been really ill, and I was for like the past week had been having bits of blood in my stool. So when I was going to the toilet, blood coming out in the feces. And one particular time was at the swimming pool toilets, and it was really scarily bad. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of blood kind of everywhere. And I had the sensation that almost like I'd been here before and really panicked, really freaked out. But there was like a weird sense of me, my energy, calming myself down and saying, actually, this is okay. And you can just breathe through it. And I found this really sort of potentially scary, freaking scary moment for an 8-year-old. I was 8 at the time. I'm young, I'm a kid. Really strangely comforting. Felt like, it's like, why am I? And I remember thinking, I'm surprisingly okay with this. But it was as if I was there. It's as if there was a part of me, an older version of me, that had come back to that situation and was telling me I was okay, everything's been okay. And I wonder if that's ever happened to you. If you've ever been in a situation where there's another, almost older part of you that's saying, actually, this is okay. It's all right, everything's going to be fine. And then what I experienced when I was older, because I had that experience when I was younger a few times. And then when I was older on my shamanic journey, when I was doing the medicine wheel, there's a practice that you can do, and you journey back to younger parts of yourself in certain traumatic times, and you heal those times in a journey. So you have a picture of the situation, you come in, you send colours, you can give healing, you can bring in guides, you can do certain things, and you're healing these younger parts in your journey. And when I experienced that, I went, I've done this. That's what I was doing to myself when I was 8. I've already done that because I experienced that when I was 8. I knew I was there helping myself. I'm getting really tearful. And it made sense. And I had this realization of time, that everything was already there, and that I'd held myself and I'd consciously journeyed back, and I realized I really was there helping me. And it touches me now just because of the realness of it. And this is also one of the reasons why shamanic healing work is just imperative, and it's so important that we can hold our younger selves, we can heal any trauma on any timeline, because it affects the timeline. It's there, it was accessible, and I had a beautiful experience that really could have or would have or at one point on the timeline, the data is there for that to be a really horrible experience for me, because I could sense that it had been a trauma and I'd really freaked out and really panicked. But in the experience I had in this timeline, I was fine, because that was an experience, that was on the timeline where my future self had already done it. Do you see what I mean? Maybe not, but I'm just wondering if anybody else has almost felt held, or their own presence or something was just there holding them in a traumatic experience, or a car crash or an injury, or just something where you felt, I'm being held here in a really sacred way. And I wonder whether that's a part of you, part of your higher self. Because it was for me. Ubi chai.